These are 10 super effective ways to get better at pickleball at home. I'm literally in my backyard right now and none of these require a court. First up is the most satisfying skill in pickleball. Some people call this the paddle roll, some people call it the paddle magnet, but it's an incredible skill to learn to develop better hand-eye coordination and also touch with the ball and the paddle. Here's how you do it. If I was learning this from scratch, the first thing I would do is toss the ball up and catch it on the back of the paddle. Now I would do this a few times. And you want to catch it as smooth as possible without any bounce at all. And then do the same thing from your forehand side. The advanced tip here is that when you put your paddle out in front of you, the top edge that's closest to you, that's the side that the ball goes across. So you want to catch it on that side. On the forehand, you catch it on that side. On the backhand, you catch it on that side as well. Once you're able to throw it up and catch it without any bounces pretty consistently, then you can start trying the paddle roll. All you have to do is gently pick the ball up, try to get it to balance on the top edge of your paddle, and then catch it just like we did before. The real trick here though is trying to get it to balance on this top edge. So here, here, here. Trying to get it to stay on that top edge is how it looks super smooth and how it doesn't make any sound. That's version 1, and here's version 2. This one's a little more advanced, but it looks like this. Oh, not the cleanest, but you get the point. So to do this one, you want to stick your hand out like this and hold the paddle with your palm facing towards you. Then stick the ball on the paddle, and same thing here, we're going around that corner, and you're just trying to catch it like this. Kind of hard to explain. Whenever I'm flipping this paddle, my hand turns as well, and then back to here. So it looks like this, version 2. Something that's not talked about a lot is while you're doing rolls in a regular pickleball game, the ball sometimes is literally rolling off your paddle. So being able to have the control where you can roll the ball up your paddle and catch it is really useful for in-game shots because you might actually use this in the game. Next up, we have edge bounces, and I'm gonna show you 3 different variations that you can do with this. This is another great skill to work on your hand-eye coordination and also your paddle control and touch. So the first variation, like you just saw, regular edge bounces. I think if you can do 20 of these, it's pretty impressive. If you want to go to the next level, you can do edge bounces, flip your paddle and catch it, and then continue the edge bounces like this. The trick to this one is that you want to flip the paddle as you're hitting the ball up in the air on one of the bounces. So as I'm bouncing the ball, I wait till I'm about to hit it up in the air, and when I do that, I flip my paddle and then catch the ball and continue. The third edge bounce trick I'm about to show you is harder than that one in my opinion. All we're doing is starting the ball from a bounce and then trying to get it to rest on your paddle like this. If you want a slightly easier version, you can just start with the ball on the edge, but even this is not the easiest thing in the world. Really good for hand-eye, really good for focus. Next, we have 3 different versions of the paddle bounce. The first version is super simple. I'm sure you've all done this. Forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, right? You should be able to do this all day. The next one's slightly more difficult. Face, edge, face, edge, face, edge, face, like this. Face, edge, face, edge, face, edge, face. And continue to do this. A lot more challenging than it looks. I think the main benefit for these drills is just quickly going from forehand to backhand, because when we're in a pickleball game and we're paddle out like this, sometimes balls go backhand, sometimes balls go forehand, and in hands battles you have to be able to get from place to place really quick, utilizing your wrist and your forearm a lot of the times, which is exactly what this is training. And then finally, my personal favorite, probably because I'm bad at it, is juggling 2 balls at one time on the face of your paddle. So you'll start by hitting one ball up, and then as it's falling, hit the other ball up, and try to keep them both up at the same time. You can see how that could be difficult. Similar to juggling, those 2 skills are super cool because it requires you to look straight ahead and then use your peripheral to see where the balls are. Oftentimes in pickleball, you don't have time to look at the ball all the way to contact in a hands battle, so being able to use your peripheral and know where things are in space is super valuable. So when you're doing this drill, try to look straight ahead and not so much tracking the balls. Right, it's tough. These next 3 drills are wall drills, so I'm gonna be using the Dink Master, but if you want to, you can just use a wall or a partner instead. If you don't have a Dink Master, you can get it at enhancedpickleball.com and use my code SHEAUNDERWOOD for free shipping. I personally use this all the time in my training. It's a super good tool to have. The first wall drill I like to do is a volley hit to self volley, like this. You can go two-handed as well if you wanted to. What that's doing is it's working on your speed ups, but more importantly, it's working on your resets and your touch and your control to yourself. If you're able to reset this ball up to yourself, you're also able to reset this ball gently over the net to your opponent. So this is a great way to practice on-court skills at home by yourself. To do this, all we're doing is speeding up at the target. And then if it's coming to my backhand, I'm just catching it with an open paddle face towards the sky, hitting up to myself, and then hitting it back. If that's a little too hard for you, something you might want to do instead is just serve the ball, hit it up, catch it. Backhand up, catch it. You go backhand, forehand, catch it. But eventually you want to be able to kind of go anywhere you want. Great drill, would highly recommend. The second wall drill is speed up, put away combos. What you'll find if you've played pickleball for a while is that you rarely win the point when you speed the ball up. Usually it comes back to you and you have to put it away. And so there's patterns that we can recognize while we're playing pickleball that we can exploit to know when we speed it up here, it's going to come back here. So what we're going to do here is speed up to the side over here. But when it comes back, I'll then put it away with a backhand volley. So I'm here, I'll speed up, put away, try to catch the ball. Speed up, put away, catch. So paddle straight ahead, speed up, put away, catch. I'm also standing pretty close to this thing, so I could back up and make it a little bit easier, but I like training with really fast reflexes, so I think it's to your benefit to do this. The third drill I like to do on the wall or the Dink Master is what I call the around the world. Basically, we're gonna hit every single target from the left, over top, and down to the right. And at some point in that process, our paddle will have to switch from backhand to forehand and back to backhand. This one's pretty difficult. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you just unscrew this, lean it up slightly so the ball has a little bit more elevation when it comes back to you and it's not coming down at your feet or at your body. Oh, pretty good round right there. It's really difficult to hit this spot that you want to hit from different places on your body. So if the ball's coming back to me and I'm over here on my right hip, it's going to be hard to get it on this right side of the board. But if you can do that, then you can do it in a real game as well, which is a huge benefit to you. A lot of times in pickleball, our opponents use grips that make certain spots of their body weaker to speed ups. So if we can recognize that and identify the weak spots of our opponent based off the way they grip their paddle, then we can exploit those in speed ups and enhanced battles, which is why it's really important to be able to hit different parts of this board from different positions when I'm down low. The next tip uses this strange contraption called a Brock string. I use this every time before I play a match and often at home to work on the strength of my eyes. It's really hard to show visually in video because we're only seeing in 2D, but in reality we're seeing in 3 dimensions. So all we have here is a string that has several beads on it that are spaced apart, and we're focusing on the first bead and then moving to the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. If you look really closely, you might be able to see my eyes jump when I go from the first to the last bead. And what's happening here is my eyes are diverging and converging based on the focal point and space where I'm looking. I got this string and I learned this tip from my friend Sam at Sportside Atlanta and Smugs Fitness. Shout out Sam. But you can do this same thing at home with only your fingers. Let me show you. So all you have to do is pick a target in the distance. Right now, I'm gonna pick my tripod that you're set up on, stick one finger in front of my face, one finger out in front of that finger, and then the tripod. It's not gonna look the same on camera, but try this at home. And then focus on the finger in front of you, the finger in the middle, and then the thing out in space that you chose. And then quickly try to hop between those different things, changing your focal point. The reason this is important to pickleball is it's the exact same process that we do when we're tracking a ball from our opponent's paddle. So imagine your opponent just served and the ball's way over here and they hit it. Your eyes have to track this ball through space all the way up until it gets to your paddle. Sometimes when you start play in the morning, you think you're really slow, but what's actually happening is that your eyes are not adjusted yet and you're not seeing the ball in time. So if you use a tool like this or use the finger method that I just taught you, you will be able to warm up faster and warm up better than if you hadn't done it. This next tip I learned when I was training to play college football. We would do this all the time. It takes a lot of effort to physically drop a ball and kick it, but what doesn't take a lot of effort is doing what we call shadow swings. So when I was training, I would pretend that I had the ball in my hand, I'd go through the motion, I would drop it, I would see it in my, what we would call mind's eye, and then we would actually perform a slow motion version of that kick. So if you don't have someone to play with or you're not on the court, you can go through an entire point just in your head. And this is actually super valuable and very beneficial. So you just imagine you're here, you're serving the ball, you take your step back after you serve, you hit a third shot drop maybe with your backhand, they hit the ball back, you reset from transition, ball's coming back to you, speed up, right? You win the point. You can do several different variations of that to go over real game situations that you might have already experienced. A huge tip is that if you film your matches, you can see exactly how the point unfolded, and then you can run back through it in your mind and see what you should have done differently. Another really important way to practice this is if you have a mirror in front of you, you can physically see what your technique looks like as you're swinging and as you're following through with your strokes. And you might not have that feedback unless you film yourself, or if you have a mirror in front of you to get instant feedback. One of the best ways I found to practice at home only involves my phone. So I'll go to YouTube on my phone or my computer, I'll look up like the PPA and find the most recent match that happened. And then what you do is pause the screen at different points in the match and then think about what you would do in that situation and then play it and see if that's what the pros do. This method has two important ways it can provide value to you. First, if what you think is about to happen is what the pros actually do, then you can justify it and understand that the shot that you would hit is the correct shot. Because oftentimes in pickleball, what we don't understand is that our shot selection is what's bad and not necessarily our shot execution. Knowing what shot you're supposed to hit in a situation is the first step. And until you get that right, it doesn't really matter how you execute a shot. The second way it provides value is that if you think that they're about to do something and then they don't do it, you can then use that to see if A, you're right and you can justify why they should have done it, or B, you're wrong and that you should change what you're thinking to what the pro actually did. But even if you take the time to do this exercise, there's still a way that you can be a lot more certain that the pro is doing the correct thing. And that's by hearing it straight from the pro. So in this video, here are 8 game-changing tips that Zane Navratil taught me, and you can be sure that it came straight from a pro. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.